Before we begin, viewer discretion is advised. This is for entertainment purposes only.
They don't have any faith in Gavin Newsom.
Oh, yeah.
Which is kind of funny because he wants to be president so bad.
That's true what it looks like.
You can't ruin a city and then go on to ruin a state and say, guys, that was just practice.
I know.
Once I get it as a president, I'm going to fix it too.
Well, you can't, it's not his words when he speaks.
Yeah.
You have to watch him closely. And some genius decided not to film him any lower than the shoulder.
Yes, did you? Yes.
So what did he do?
You couldn't see the hands.
No, but he sent Morse code.
Apparently, Joe Rogan and Tyrus have officially had it with Gavin Newsom perfect hair and polished politician act, and now they're spilling everything. We're talking revelations so wild even California wildfires couldn't keep up. So what exactly did they uncover, and why does it have half of Hollywood sweating while the other half acts like nothing happened? And buckle up, this one funny, bizarre, and maybe a little too real for comfort.
Yeah.
You have the highest unemployment.
Yeah.
You have the highest homelessness.
Look what they did with Hollywood.
Money's missing. You killed Hollywood. Like, Hollywood doesn't exist anymore. It's literally gone.
That was such an easy one.
mandated vaccines for kids that didn't need them. You guys...
What I saw, what it looked to me like he was negotiating with a deaf prostitute.
If you're enjoying this, don't forget to subscribe, it helps more than you know. Nobody had Joe Rogan and Tyrus roasting Gavin Newsom on their 2025 bingo card, yet here we are, watching California's most camera-ready politician get scorched harder than an August day in LA. You could practically hear the collective gasp from Malibu to San Francisco when they dropped their truth bomb. Because let's be real, whenever Rogan and Tyrus start talking, somewhere a PR team starts sweating bullets.
I mean, it's so crazy, but he's such a great politician. I mean,
No,
he's
he's
so
not.
smooth.
He's
You
not,
don't think so?
No, I think he's terrible.
How's
It's
he
just
remained in
'cause
power
he has
for so long?
Low competition. There's no one who's
there's
good
that.
is competing against him.
I
There's
guess
no
that-
sincerity.
I should say he's not a good. I should say he's smooth. He comes.
I
across
mean,
pretty
he's a
smooth.
good bullshit artist.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But it's like the things that he says when he gets confronted with we're the highest this and the highest that. Like everybody's.
It all started innocently enough, a casual chat, a few laughs, and then boom, Newsom name drops into the mix like a vegan burger at a Texas barbecue. In an instant, the chill vibe disappears, because let's face it, no one's safe once Joe Rogan starts connecting dots. And Tyrus, he doesn't bother connecting dots, he just draws the knockout punch.
You can watch it. Look at the blinking. Blink, look. Meet me at the house. Like, he's blinking. He's sending. I'm getting there. Hey, just so you know, I'm not wearing pants.
Ew.
And then, look, he's blinking. And then eventually, the camera guy realizing that he's signaling him, so he gets appalled, leans back, camera comes down, and then we're back to this. I'll do this for you. You do this for me a little. So he's saying whatever he's going to say. There it is. See? They couldn't hold him back. He's like, I'm not on film. Oh, I'm not. Nope. Oh, bring my hands up. Bring him up. Bring him up. Bring him up. Bring him up.
He doesn't just make a point, he hurls the whole whiteboard across the room and dares you to prove him wrong. Meanwhile, Gavin Newsom has been California golden boy for so long you'd swear he was cultivated in a Napa Valley vineyard right next to the Pinot Noir, complete with flawless teeth, hair smoother than a shampoo ad, and speeches so slick they could moonlight as TED Talks on charisma.
Newsom told the Los Angeles Times Panera would not be exempt from the law. The spokesperson also did not acclaim the Bloomberg piece, which cited sources close to the matter that Newsom pushed for an exemption that applies to businesses that bake bread and sell it as a standalone item, calling the report absurd. So is it a fake story?
Or is it something that they
might have corrected
hustled
course
on and
quickly?
corrected course quickly, yeah.
Yeah. Roll up to the top. So where's the initial report? Let's find the initial report.
But somewhere along the way, the California dream he'd been selling started looking less like paradise and more like a dystopian Netflix series where rent costs a kidney and every street corner feels like a social experiment gone wrong. So when Rogan and Tyrus decided to peel back the curtain, it wasn't just entertainment, it was a demolition derby of egos and hypocrisy. Rogan came in swinging with his trademark mix of logic and what if, while Tyrus just crossed his arms, gave that look, and turned Newsom brand of politics into a full-blown comedy special. Picture it. Two guys talking about leadership, laughing and shaking their heads as they realize the truth behind Gavin Newsom might be a little too airbrushed to be real. And yet there he is smiling like a toothpaste model, insisting everything fine. Honestly, it almost impressive. Like watching someone rearrange deck chairs on the Titanic while claiming the ship is pioneering new buoyancy standards. And of course, Tyrus being Tyrus, he didn't hold back.
Back and watch the tape.
Yes.
He literally goes, I want some of this, then you do some of this, and I'll do some of that back to you, and then we'll do this, and then I'll pay you, and then we'll do it again.
True.
And then she kept saying, no. Okay, how about this? You do this one first, then we do this one, then we give a little back and forth.
He pointed out that California's biggest export isn't film or tech anymore at people. Residents are fleeing the state like contestants on a bad reality show where the final challenge is surviving the electric bill. The irony, every time someone leaves, Newsom calls it growth. Sure, if growth means boosting Texas population one U-Haul at a time, Rogan, ever the philosopher with a punchline, couldn't resist digging deeper. He started asking the kind of questions that make politicians sweat, the ones that sound innocent until you realize there's no safe answer. Like, how does a state richer than most countries still have roads that look like they were bombed by a toddler with a hammer? Or why does every new green initiative somehow end with the air thickened by another wildfire? From there, the conversation went from roast to revelation. Because while everyone's been fixated on Newsom's rumored presidential run, Rogan and Tyrus dropped the question nobody in the mainstream dares to ask. Does anyone outside California actually want California problems shipped nationwide? The truth they exposed wasn't about scandals or secret backroom deals, it was about perception.
Why would Bloomberg spread bullshit? Bloomberg is a financial paper, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's not something...
I don't think it would be.
You really can't do that if you're running a financial paper. It's not like the New York Times. The New York Times can say Israel bombed the hospital and 500 people are killed and put it on the front page, even if it's not true. And everybody just assumes it's true because it's the New York Times. But they can kind of get away with that.
Yeah.
And then they still exist.
The idea is simple. Gavin Newsom has crafted an image so bulletproof that no matter what's burning behind him, he'll just flash that smile, roll up his sleeves, and blame it on climate change. It's the political version of it, not you, and me, only with higher taxes and zero accountability. And yet you can't deny the man charisma. He could probably convince a room full of people that paying $12 for a green smoothie is an act of patriotism. Rogan joked well, implied that Newsom's real power lies in his talent for making chaos look like progress. After all, who else could spin homelessness, rolling blackouts, and gas prices higher than a SpaceX launch into a vision for the future? Tyrus, ever the heavyweight cynic, called it what it is, political theater at its finest. California isn't a state anymore, it's a stage. The funniest part? Every time someone calls him out, Newsom doubles down with that confident smirk that practically says, "You'll still vote for me." And honestly, many do, because he got that hypnotic Hollywood glow that makes people forget how bad things actually are. It's like being stuck in traffic while the driver keeps assuring you it's all part of an innovative transportation experience. Rogan and Tyrus turned the whole thing into a masterclass on political branding, how to look flawless while the foundation quietly crumbles beneath you.
With the California budget cuts and stuff, since they didn't have a hearing impaired transitioner anymore, I'm not paying money for that. I'll do it myself. So, you know. A little bit of bubble. Yeah. No.
Nice.
Could you imagine if you were the sign person for the TV going?
No, he reminds me there of, remember the guy who did the sign language at Mandela's?
How to smile through the smoke. How to turn every disaster into a sound bite. If blame shifting were an Olympic sport, Gavin Newsom would have more gold than Michael Phelps. Then came the moment that sent half the internet into a tailspin. Tyrus pointed out the obvious but somehow rarely said truth. Newsom's rise has been suspiciously spotless for a guy running a state that looks perpetually mid-apocalypse. Fires, floods, blackouts, billion-dollar blunders, and yet, he walks away spotless every time. It's like he got political plot armor, scripted by the writers of modern politics. Rogan couldn't help but laugh. Because really, How does anyone stay that clean in that much chaos? It's like watching a guy wear white to a barbecue and leave without a single stain. Either he got supernatural luck or someone out there editing the reality reel in his favor. From there, the conversation spiraled into media bias, Hollywood worship, and the strange cult of personality orbiting around Newsom. The man doesn't even need a campaign manager anymore. Vanity Fair has the job covered. Add some soft lighting, a drone shot of the California coast, and suddenly half the country swooning until they remember gas is still $7 a gallon. Rogan, ever the curious contrarian, couldn't ignore it. Newsom endless media appearances, the careful framing, the national spotlight, it all feels less like governing and more like an audition for something much bigger.
Some of the success that they're hanging their hat on is his social media campaign where he talks like Trump.
It's no longer the rule of law. It's increasingly the rule of done.
So he's got a bunch of people from his organization that tweet for him, and they tweet like Trump, and they're saying this has elevated him in the public's eye. That's terrifying.
You've seen it across the board. People are scared to death of this guy.
He's starting to learn the internet sensibility.
It's the appalling silence. It's the complicity. You're seeing the most successful, wealthiest people scared to death of this guy.
Which is heavily trolling, does very well. What he has is a terrible...
And maybe California was just the warm-up act. But as Rogan and Tyrus kept hinting, if this is the trailer, America might want to read the reviews before buying tickets. Because the truth they laid bare was simple. The Gavin Newsom brand runs on perception, not performance. It's not about results, it's about the vibe. And right now, that vibe is pure chaos, with great hair. They didn't even need to spell it out. You could see it. This is a guy who could declare a state of emergency over bad lighting and still get praised as forward-thinking. Meanwhile, everyday Californians are stuck trying to guess which apocalypse hits next: earthquake, wildfire, or tax hike. By the midpoint, Rogan had gone full Socratic, asking whether America's obsession with image has completely replaced its concern for competence. Because Newsom love him, or loathe him, is the living embodiment of the Instagram politician, smooth, shiny, and filtered to perfection. Just don't zoom in too close. Tyrus jumped in, pointing out that Newsom' real genius isn't in solving problems, it in making people believe he fixing them simply by acknowledging they exist. It was part roast, part revelation, and 100% uncomfortable for anyone still defending California's success story. And yet, it was impossible not to laugh. Because in a world where everyone pretending everything's fine, sarcasm might just be the last honest language left.
Hand gestures match the words coming out of his mouth.
Right. Yes,
if the president was like, we want peace in the Middle East, you know what I'm saying? He would be like,
right,
and like,
That's it. That it is. It's the contrast.
yeah, like Gavin, his hands are aggressive. You know,
Yeah.
we've had a lot of theories. One, it was a bad negotiation with a deaf hooker. You know, now he doesn't want to pay for, you know.
Do you have a problem with deaf hookers?
He does, because the deal went south.
It's called the Helen Kellen special.
Rogan and Tyrus didn't set out to take down Gavin Newsom, they just accidentally revealed how fragile the illusion really is once you start poking it with common sense. By the end, they peeled back every polished layer of the Newsom persona, until all that remained was the irony of a man selling perfection while running a state that often looks like the aftermath of a TikTok challenge gone wrong. And somehow, he still smiles through it all as if the chaos itself was part of the plan. The real takeaway: Rogan and Tyrus didn't just expose Gavin Newsom, they exposed the entire performance of modern politics. The filters, the slogans, the media infatuation. They showed that behind every flawless image lies a story too messy to fit in the frame. And maybe, just maybe, America's next big thing is more style than substance. Still, you can't deny it entertaining. Because as long as people like Rogan and Tyrus keep asking uncomfortable questions, that glossy facade will keep cracking. And when it does, it's always fascinating to see who rushes to patch it up and who just slaps on another filter. And just when everyone thought they were finished, Rogan and Tyrus dove even deeper right into the Hollywood bubble that's been propping up Newsom brand for years.
Newsom talks about California. It's like, you know, I'm very big on California, very bullish on California. California has all this industry. Hey, fucko, they're all thinking about moving. The only reason why they don't move is because it's too difficult to move. If it was like every business could instantly pull up roots and replace everything and have everything running in a week at the other place, they'd all be.
You know that bizarre ecosystem where celebrities preach about saving the planet right before hopping on private jets to climate summits? Rogan couldn't help but laugh at the irony. Tyrus rolled his eyes so hard they practically needed hazard pay. Because apparently, California's biggest issue isn't just homelessness or inflation, it's delusion dressed in designer suits. They started comparing Newsom's speeches to award show monologues. Long, dramatic, and packed with words that sound profound but mean absolutely nothing. Every promise feels like a trailer for a movie that never actually gets released. Coming soon, prosperity, equality, and a functioning power grid. Spoiler alert, it's still in production. Rogan pointed out how California's so-called progressive paradise somehow keeps producing policies that make even progressives want to move out. It's the ultimate political magic trick, convincing people to celebrate being taxed into oblivion. Meanwhile, the roads still look like the moon's surface, and a trip to the grocery store now feels like a luxury getaway. Tyrus cracked that living in California is like dating someone who swears they'll change but somehow, your wallet always missing by the end. And then came the punchline that tied it all together.
Maybe you can fix California while you stop by. 2 shows, you should be able to do that.
Hey, you know what? Real funny. So the other night, I got like 3 weeks ago. Time flies when you work. I get a text at 2 o'clock in the morning from the president who says, "Hey, bro, I just filled California up with water. Governor's pissed," and sent pictures. LOL post. Who doesn't love this president?
Rogan said the scariest part isn't Gavin Newsom himself, at that half the country looks at the chaos and still says, yeah, we should try that. The room went silent for a moment, because everyone knew he just summed up modern politics in one line. People fall in love with the packaging and never check the expiration date. Tyrus couldn't resist the final jab. Newsom, the kind of guy who'd host a bonfire to stop wildfires and call it innovation. And honestly, he's not wrong. Because when the smoke clears, the truth Rogan and Tyrus revealed wasn't about one politician, it was about the whole production. The illusion, the image, the standing ovations for problems that never get solved. That's the real punchline. California might keep burning, but the spotlight never fades. There's always another headline to chase, another camera angle to polish, another bold vision speech to deliver. Rogan and Tyrus didn't just roast Newsom, they reminded everyone that politics today isn't governance. It's performance art. And in that theater, the truth doesn't just get exposed, it gets laughed at, clipped, and memed into oblivion.